everyone. This is RAND, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Saturday, August 2nd, 2025, after 3:15 p.m. Eastern. There's a lot of people on the planet right now are experiencing a kind of fear, to say the least. We want to know what that's all about. And as Osho stated, what is fear made? What is fear made of? Fear is made of ignorance of one's own self. You want to make sure you're in a comfortable position with no outside distraction. Relaxed into your body. Still as a statue, focused on your breath rising and falling. See, we really are on this adventure while we're in these bodies, okay? And our life is meant to be a magical, manifesting adventure. Does that make sense? Why would we be in a body and suffer? Does that make any sense to anybody? No, it doesn't. You actually, on this magical manifesting adventure, how many are on that? I have no idea. Not many. And in order to experience our greatest magic, power, and freedom, we've got to be totally free from the grasp of fear. And when your heart is truly fearless, your soul trusts that it's safe to perpetually open up to life. And nothing feels impossible for you. You can ask anything of this universe, and it is not too much. The fearless being is the most desired, empowered, and beautiful being in the entire universe. Whatever their heart desires instantly begins to manifest into this world. Okay? Now, it may sound crazy, a little ridiculous and outrageous, yet when you learn how to transform fear, every moment becomes an invitation to meet the divine. Awaiting with each being is an enlightening, heart-opening, godly experience. A secret is discovering this fearless freedom begins with one simple step. Approach all fear with fascination. When you meet fear of curiosity, life takes you into higher states of expansion. Instead of deeper, limiting sensations of contraction, fascination makes you become more open, relaxed, and receptive to the magic that is all around you. You naturally want to dive into life and experience each being you meet with endless wonder, curiosity, and this creates more intimacy. It requires tremendous courage to change your relationship with fear. Yet if you don't fear, will continue to castrate the rest of your life. And because of all this shuffling on the planet, all these activities going on, you imagine the people that they have no clue about any of this. That many of us do. They have no reference or gauge to identify any of it. So you imagine what those people experience. Now, you can do a little experiment. Pick one day where you are going to create more freedom in your life by meeting your fear with fascination. Whatever may happen to you in these next short 24 hours. Do not let any fear shrink you, yet allow it to move through you in such a way that it creates a transformation inside you. Breathe into your fear. Welcome it. And when you say yes to it, it will shift before your very eyes. Now, if and when you can maintain this commitment to yourself for this one day, you might just believe by evening time that you are one of the most fortunate, sacred, amazing beings who are alive on this planet. The possibility of living in doubt, skepticism, and resistance to life will always be there. In each moment, fear can sneak in, take on one of these disguises. It doesn't mean you have to pay attention to it. You can choose to ignore any fear energy or feeling that you sense growing inside you and breathe beyond it. Simply take a look underneath the contracted fear-based energy and you'll see that it's an angel in disguise, simply there to help you create deeper roots of love. And believe it or not, fear has this very special and sacred job in your life. It is going to make sure you don't die without feeling ridiculously alive. If you are not pouncing on your life mission, taking the risk to open your heart to love every day, believing in the impossible, and reaching for the miraculous, then fear will do its job and start eating at you. Now, we need fear there, yet we do not have to live in it. If our world was completely without the concept of fear, we would be zombies. There would be no courage or vigilance of awareness. We wouldn't be very accurate at focusing our precious attention and intention into what makes our heart truly sing. Courage is not the absence of fear, but rather the judgment that something else is more important than fear. Ambrose Redmoon. For every day of this next week, explore a feeling of deep acceptance with your personal relationship with fear. How do you typically respond when fear shows its scary head? Do you run, hide, then retaliate with anxiety? When fear comes into your body, what happens? So my invitation is to make this more conscious so that you learn how to use fear instead of it using you, used by it. And when you stop feeling fear, fear can feed you. It's just energy. And when you find out how to welcome it into with curiosity, it sharpens your focus, clarifies your intentions, makes your whole body, mind super passionate about what you want to get out of life. Now, it's no small matter. It will shake you to your roots. This is what it means to do so that the real metamorphosis can begin. Stop resisting fear and start welcoming it in. Learn how to ride the hungry tiger instead of being eaten by it. You will actually enjoy everything about life again. How many of us are running away from ourselves? Yet whatever parts we are running away from always end up becoming the ones we run towards at some point. In this lifetime or the next. Learn how to embrace your fear, love your fear, and you will form a deeper spiritual respect for life. You will appreciate all variations of life and not just be seeking to have easy, good days. Find what it is you truly fear. Love, intimacy, success, failure. Whatever it is, invite it in and see how your ancient phobias instantly flip around and become waves of enthralling fascination. Have fun. You can look forward to each meeting you have with fear. And when you do, you truly mastered the game. And it's appropriate because in this planet, we use fear, but we use it all wrong. We don't embrace it and say, oh, okay, so let's look at this fear. What's it about? and address everything. And then let it pass by. Because it is just energy. But I get a lot of people, talk about, they worry, stress, and fear about what's happening on the planet. And if you don't know how to, well, let's just say, adjust, okay, the fear meter, and then you can become overwhelmed by it. I mean, we all know that. It can freeze you, stymie you. It can eliminate your days of living because it embraces you so heavily. And so you're worried about all kinds of things. And you look at the fear and you say, okay, there's the fear. What's the fear about? And fine, right? I'm focusing on the now, this very moment. Step by step, moment to moment. And that's why I say it so much, because it moves you into a different existence. And fear will try to get you to worry about today, tomorrow, the next day, a month from now, a week, whatever. It just sits there. And you keep getting embraced by the fear, and the fear overtakes you. And when you look at that and say, well, this is what I'm looking at. Okay, fine. I'll let it pass. I know what it's about. And then you put in there, anything is possible. Anything. But you can't just say it, ego-mindedly, but through heart-mind, anything's possible. No limitations. See, we've been trained on this planet for so long to actually believe the nonsense that we have been told. So it takes away our awareness of saying, well, wait a minute. Why are they saying that this can't be done, that's not possible, it's not possible? And we grew up with that. And then as the years go by, we believe it. And say, well, that's not possible. But it is. When you say it's impossible, then you're negating. And we are what we think, what we focus on. Okay? If someone is sick, what do they focus on? Being sick. Now, if they switch gears and focus on getting better and getting healthy, that's a different story. In other words, if they allow the sickness to consume them, their whole focus is on worry, stress, and fear. Really. It's on worry, stress, and fear, which does not help them. In fact, it causes them to deteriorate even more. But instead, you say, why would I spend that energy on that when I could shift over here and say, I'm going to get better? And they're not fooling themselves. They know it deep within. And that's where I'm focusing my attention, of being better, well, healthy, instead of sick, in pain, whatever it may be. Remember, I've said this several times, is that all of us, wherever we focus, things begin to appear. Wherever we focus our attention, we manifest. See, it could be out of nowhere. It could be just staring at something, or it could be thoughts. That your attentions are on these certain thoughts, right? And what happens to most of us is that fear overtakes us, and it actually controls us and directs us. And then we're presented with the fact that we get so consumed by it that it begins to fester with us. This is why the anxiety on this planet is so high. The worry, the stress factor. Stress can kill a body. It's, in fact, stress is the highest destroyer of human bodies because it moves into organic happenings with the body. It's kind of like, that's why I say you just float through life on everything. Because we've been taught to take this life so darn seriously. This is why we end up worrying, stressing, and fearing. Period. If you knew right now, this very moment, that in a week you would be out of the body, how would you feel about that? Most people don't even care to think about that. Okay? Fear, worry, anxiety. But how would you feel when that would occur, right? Would you be worried, stressed, and fearful, or would you say, well, I got a week left, make the most of it? See, and our biggest fear is exactly that, leaving the body. That's our biggest fear. And we focus on it, and we harbor it, and we worry, and we stress, and we fear about it. It takes up all our time. So we literally create it. We create the ending. Rather than just say, just floating along, living in the now. Any of us could end up in a minute or an hour or something, leave the body. Totally unexpected. Right? Walk around a corner and get hit by a bus. Who knows? See, this is why living in the now is sustainable, and it's very healthy and empowering. Because when we wander off into things and we start thinking, that's what happens. We begin to start thinking, and we have all these thoughts that surface. And you begin to fear the process, even though you've been told, and you believe it, that the bodies are temporary. You're gonna leave it eventually. But you, who you really are, never dies. And what is the biggest fear? Well, it's attachment to material physical. That's where all the fear is. Leaving the material physical behind. That's what it is. And this is why so many people don't look at the mortality of human bodies, because they're in such fright and fear. You're here one day, gone the next. And it's not talked about a lot. You notice that? We don't talk. It's kind of like a taboo thing that it's kind of in the background. And the only time it's talked about is when somebody leaves the body. And see, I don't believe in death. Okay, that's a word invented on this planet. But leaving the body. You know, the God that you are, the spirit that you are, sooner or later ends up leaving the body. Everything that you've accumulated is gone. You leave it all behind. And whoever's around to mess with it or deal with it, that's their thing. You're gone. Now, some people say, well, that's a pretty macabre conversation. Not really, because we face everything. We look at everything. And we're able to have it pass through us. And we focus on the now. And we float Okay? And this is why making plans and all this stuff, a lot of people do it. Okay? Nothing wrong with it. But in eventuality, all you're doing is saying, most of the time I live in the now. This is what I do. I don't project off 2 days from now, 3 days from now, 4 days from now. I don't start saying to myself, well, I've got to get this done in 3 days. And then bring up and focus on it. Rather than saying, okay, I'll just get it done. Do it. Okay? And a lot of us, that's what happens. We get off into tomorrow. We start thinking about other things. When we're in the now and actually operating in that moment, we're off thinking about all kinds of other things. And remember, where attention goes, energy flows. So, where attention goes, energy flows. And what does that mean? Well, you're creating. If you have a situation that you start focusing on, right? You say, okay, so in this situation, I'm going to do this, this, and this, and this, and this to help myself. Okay? And you can have two different ways of focusing on it. Positive, negative. Period. Now, if you take the negative road, you're going to give it more force, more energy. It's going to expand. It's going to grow. But you take the positive road, say, okay, that's fine. I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to focus on this. And I talk to a lot of people that are sick, that have some heavy-duty issues with their bodies. And what I say is don't focus on the condition of your body. Focus on healing it. Okay? Focus on healing your body and not going to the corrupted allopathic direction. And see, this is why I've talked about it so much for people to learn about their bodies, to learn, get educated, have knowledge, so that they can seek out and draw to them, manifest to them, things that will help heal their bodies. No matter what's going on, okay? Things that will help heal their bodies, naturally, from the earth, from the planet. How many of us just go out, put our barefooted, right, and put our feet on the ground and just sit there and enjoy the feeling and enjoy the outdoors? How many people do you think do that? Do you see them? I mean, really, I'm not funning. Do you actually see them out there? I mean, it's kind of like, no. Hey, you see people going to the park. You see people walking around barefoot, or you see people just sitting with their feet, bare feet on the soil, the earth. The earth has tremendous healing properties. And yet we don't do that. We keep our feet covered. We keep them in shoes, and socks. There's a lot of things that we can do that will help us all the time. You imagine the energy on this planet? Just think about that. The power and the energy of the spirit within this planet. It's huge. It's massive. Yet we walk around and we don't realize the benefits of the planet just sitting here for us. Just actually just waiting for us. And what were we taught to do? Wear shoes, right? Wear socks. Keep our feet covered up with rubber, plastic, and leather. Whatever we did, we put all the time. Instead of focusing on practicing being as barefoot as possible, as much as possible. Now, I know this sounds strange to a lot of people, but it's taking the time and focusing. How are you going to keep your body healed? How are you going to keep healing it instead of tearing it down? How are you going to do that? And this was all connected in the beginning to fear, and then you learn to have fear pass through you, and then you look at the fact of saying, man, I've got a organic-born energy source wherever I am. I can go out and just sit in a chair and put my feet on the grass or on the soil. Right? Now, as kids, you probably remember, as kids, we would, a lot of the times, just be barefoot outside and play. I remember when I was a kid in Florida, that's what I did. Most of the time, I didn't have any shoes on. I just had my bare feet. And I remember one time, we were transferring to another air base, and I was barefoot again, right, walking across the grass, and I stepped on a bee, and it stung me. So I really wanted to go with my mother to the restaurant. This is where we're going, which is right there with the motel. But I couldn't because that sting was so excruciating, and my foot swelled up. So I had to go get in the bathtub and soak my foot while they went to the restaurant. And that foot stayed swollen for a while. You got to remember this was back in the 60s. So you realize that this planet was designed to keep us healed, to deter diseases that have been inflicted upon us, to deter illness. And people don't realize that. Now, there's a group of people that earthing, you've heard of earthing. But the real deal is to scoop out like a scoop out of the soil, out of the earth, and have an earthing bed right there in the dirt, and just lay down in the dirt. I know that sounds strange to people. Oh, the bugs there, they're no bugs. You just scoop it out, clean it around, and brush it out. And every day, you spend some time in that earth bed, outdoors. Now, a lot of people can't do that because of where they live, right? But it's something to think about. And to walk around barefooted, and if people say, oh, my feet are too sensitive, you get used to it after a while. You just watch where you step. And obviously, you don't care to walk on rocks. Cement. I've got a friend, he literally, every time you see him, even in his job, he's barefooted. Yeah, I've not ever seen him wear shoes. Which is crazy. At least it seems. Love, see, when I talk about loving, love the planet. Love it. Use it. It's there. All the energy it emits. When you put your feet on the earth, you're going to feel the energy. It's automatic. You'll feel it go through your body. It'll balance you. Your biometrics, which most people are way whacked out. So it really is something that's not talked about and people don't think about it. So I'm going to go out and just sit, put my feet in the soil, and just sit. Enjoy the beingness. Instead of being cooped up in your place, most people are cooped up. They drive their car, and they go here, they go there, they get in the house, and they just are cooped up. They're not grounding themselves anywhere. And so a good idea, as I suggest, is to start focusing to use this planet's energy. Use it for your bodies. Use it. And don't just, once in a great while. Make it a habit. Make it a habit of using the earth to heal your body. Really. And there have been so many first accounts where people healed themselves from serious illnesses that normally would have caused them leaving the body. Okay? And people don't realize what's been given to us on this planet. This is why our ancestors, the giants, right? This is why everything was healing. It was always healing them. You know, the acoustics in the cathedrals that they built. You know, the 70-foot, 80-foot high doors, openings. I mean, you look at this, these people knew what they were doing. It was all about healing. There was no sickness, really. And we've been removed from that. See, we've been literally stripped away from it. And it's our natural state of being. How good does it feel to you? Have you ever done this through your life, where you just went out and laid in the grass? You just laid there. And how good did it feel? Okay? It's like, you imagine a bunch of people getting together, and there's a big backyard, and they get together just to lay on the grass. Just lay there. You imagine if that got caught on around the world? There'd be the population would be a lot healthier and a lot happier and a lot more vibrant. So in the quiet time of this meditation, feel it. You're part of it. You know, there's a spirit in this planet. There is a God in this planet. You're a God in that body. Do you think we're apart? Do you think we're separate? No. And some of us have different energies or frequencies to help each other. So, highly recommend that you focus on healing the body through planet Earth and grounding and energy and putting your feet in the soil and getting in the habit of doing that. And getting in the habit of not wearing anything on your feet. Join in meditation. I'll return to close this out. Take an easy and slow breath in through the nose. And an easy and slow breath out from the mouth. Remain still, relaxed into your body. Focus on your breath rising and falling. Be happy because you can. You can simply choose to be happy with whatever is happening in your life. Not because you should or have to, but because accepting what is the path of least resistance. It's a sacred, deep perspective that isn't about giving up on life or abandoning yourself. You are simply opening to see what divine intelligence is teaching you in this moment. The greatest joy you seek is not somewhere out there. Soften fully by letting go of all your expectations and agendas. You will discover a permanent fountain of happiness flowing from within. And I can already feel the joy showering over you. Take this with you for the rest of the day into the evening and night, following morning. And we will return here Sunday, August 3, 2025, after 3:15 p.m. Eastern, to continue our global guided meditation call. Be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times. Be in the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, purest of the purest purest, eternal gratitude at all times, no matter what's going on within you or outside of you. Open your heart and allow the magic to flow in.